Well, hello, hello, hello. I hope you all are having a super duper fantastic day out there today. It's hump day, y'all, and I'm live at 5 a. I'm live at 5 a. I'm live at 5 a. I'm live at 5. Come on inside of the StreamYard room. The conversation today is you can't play with us. You just can't play with us. Now, look. When I heard that, I was shocked, but I also respected it at the same time. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that conversation that I had in just a few seconds. But look, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Deneen Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneur's Jumpstart Program. It is the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, and build a highly profitable business. And how do you actually do that? Well, you have to build your courage. You have to build your confidence, and you have to build your competence to go out here, get in the game, and do what it is that God has called you to do. So look, this is more about my journey and building my business. I'm having my anniversary on May the 13th. I want you to mark your calendars. May the 13th is happening. It's going to be live right here on the business page inside of the group and on YouTube. And I don't want you to miss it. May the 13th. I want you to get in where you fit in based on the speakers. I'll be delivering the flyers soon and you'll see. And based on the content and the information we'll be sharing, I promise you're not going to want to miss it. And of course, you'll definitely have opportunities to invest in the things that you believe that will help you get to your next step. And I want you to be in the place so you can make a wise decision. But look, go ahead and put this in the chat. You can't play with us. You can't play with us. Okay, so listen, let me tell you the story. It was back in 2013. And here I was sitting at the Omni La Costa in Carlsbad having a conversation with an amazing woman by the name of Allison Bird. And it was right after Lisa Nichols had completed her speaker training, right? How to become a powerhouse speaker. And I was there in that space and I was fighting the process all the way through because I really didn't understand why I was invited, right? Even though I know before I got there, God and I had a little powwow, but I definitely was fighting against what it was that I believed that he said. So while I was sitting there at the end of the conference with Allison Bird, and I remember us sitting in some lounge chairs, and she was just like, so what did you think of the conference? And I was just like, yeah, it was a lot. Like, my head, my brain, it felt like scrambled eggs. Like if you've never been to a transformation event before, you may not understand what I'm saying. But if you've been in a transformation space with some of the greats, like the Iyanlas, the Brendans, the Tonys, the Eric Thomases, if you've been in that particular space, I want you to put in the chat, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, right? You're hearing so much great information. Or even if you have taken the Landmark Forum, okay, let me say that. You're sitting in a conversation or a space with such great conversation, information, things that you haven't heard before, and it opens your mind up. You know that little emoji when it's like your brain is. So I was having one of them experiences, right? And I was sitting out there telling her about, a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was even a couple of months ago, God has said to me, Deneen, speaking and teaching is what you should be doing. And she was like, okay. And I was just like, but then that's all I got. Like, I didn't get any information. And she was just like, no, that doesn't seem right. Like, was it something that you did afterwards? I was like, oh yeah. I was like, no, this can't be me. She was like, oh, okay. So you missed some of the information. You didn't sit in the calling, right? You kind of fought your way out of it and you started thinking about reasons why it couldn't work and why you couldn't be the one, right? You know how the word tells you to be slow to speak and swift to hear? Put it in the chat. Slow to speak, swift to hear. Slow to speak, swift to hear. Because see, this was my problem, and I'm trying to help you. Now, this is just a story. I'm going to give you the steps in a minute, but this is just a story. And so she was like, yeah, because of all that fighting and pushing against what you were being told, you missed, I'm sure, some information that would have been beneficial for you. But because you were fighting what it was that God was sending to you, what he was telling you, you don't miss some of the instructions, right? Like, even though you may not have had a full picture of what it was that he saw for you or he wanted for you, he gave you enough to start. Put it in the chat. You got enough to start. Put it in the chat. You got enough to start. And then she started to break down this last piece that I think was so important to me. And it gave me so much power, right? Now this is before she said, you can't play with us. But she said, look, when we look at our lives, right? God has actually given us a blank canvas. Put it in the chat. I got a blank canvas. I got a blank canvas, right? And he gives you the opportunity to create whatever it is you want, right? Think about it when you were younger. And for those of you who actually are working in a field that you felt led to do or you was inspired to do when you were young, you get that this inspiration, the dreams, the goals, you actually have them at a very young age. You get some picture of how you see yourself or things that you want to do before, of course, they squash by certain people or someone throw a monkey wrench in your plan. But you actually have this blank canvas and God allows you to create whatever picture you want. Put this in the chat. Hashtag I'm a creator. Hashtag I'm a creator. See, because when you start getting this, it's going to fill your soul. It's going to have you bubbling over, right? So put it in the chat. I am a creator. Hashtag I am a creator. I am a creator, right? And you get to put on this canvas whatever picture you want. Like you actually decide. And when I actually got that, when she said that to me, I was like, okay, clear. So I missed some communication and God has given me a blank canvas that I can decide. And then this was the last nugget that she gave me before I give you these points. She said, look, when God gives instruction, it's just like a GPS, right? You put in your final destination, which is teaching and speaking is what you should be doing. Teaching and speaking is what I should be doing. Oh, okay, God, we're going to put this in the mental GPS, right? And you get the first couple of steps. Like there's some things that you already know speakers or teachers would do or be able to do in order to move forward in that vein. Yes, like you would know whatever it is that he called you to do. There's some beginning steps, some things that you can see. And just like the GPS, you can't see all of the instructions at once. You can only see the first couple, maybe the first 3 to 4. But as you move along, the first 3 and 4, more comes into view. Put it in the chat. When I move, it gets clearer. When I move, it gets clearer. So after we had that conversation, she was just like, look, you can't play with us. Put it in the chat. You can't play with us. See, we move at such a quick and fast pace that your doubt, your limited belief, the conversation that you have going on in between your ears will talk you out of the very things that we will instruct you to do. Because if we tell you to go out here and build that, you're going to need to go build it. If we go out here and tell you to crack open the microphone, put the camera on and do a live, you're going to need to do that. And if you're battling against your limited belief or the things you believe you can't do, it's not going to work. Put it in the chat. It's not going to work. So she said, you cannot play with us. You need to go take the Landmark Forum. Put it in the chat, the Landmark Forum. And for those of you who have already done it, great. I want you to talk about your experience. Put it in the chat, how amazing it was, because it is, in fact, amazing. It was game changer for me. It was life changing for me, and for everybody that I share it with, it's also life changing for them. But here are the 3 things that I want you to get in this whole conversation: is you can't play with me. What I got through the conversation that I had with her was, number 1, get the assignment. Put that in the chat. Get the assignment. And the assignment was speaking and teaching. There was no lack of clarity. There was no confusion. Like he said what he said and he meant what he meant. And it was up to me to go ahead and do what he told me to do. Speaking and teaching is what you should be doing, right? Just think back scripturally, right? When he told Abraham to leave his house and Abraham was like, well, where do you want me to go? And he was just like, oh, I'll let you know when you get there, right? So it's kind of like, nope, just start walking. I'm going to make it clear when you move. So when I move, it get clear. When I move, it get clear. Same thing with Moses. Same thing with David. Same thing with Noah. Same thing with the parable with the servants, right? If you just do the work, disciples too, if you just take the instruction and start moving, it get clearer along the way. The second thing is, number 2, so get the assignment, number 1. Number 2 is do what you know to do. Do what you know to do. So there's some things that you already know to do with what you're being called for, right? And we like to play confused like we don't really know. But you understand, you get it. You are nowhere near confused. It's not like you don't have it. Speaking and teaching is clear. I know what it's going to take to speak and teach. That means get on people's stages. That means develop my speaking skills. That means learn how to have powerful conversation. That means learn how to tell powerful stories. That means learn how to put a presentation together. That means learn how to build a course, learn how to teach lessons, learn how to give points. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. So number 2, do what it is that you know to do. Do what it is that you know to do. Whatever he called you to do, you know the beginning steps. And as you start moving, he will give you more. Put it in the chat, I am a creator. Put it in the chat, I am a creator. And when you get this, you will know that you're going to be able to figure it out wherever you are at any circumstance at any time. But if you have the limited belief that you don't know, you don't have the degree, you're too old, you're not enough, you don't have value, people won't like you, whatever the conversation is limited. And you might need to just go ahead and enroll in the Landmark Forum. And if you're interested in that, then just let me know. I'll help you. I'll hook you up. I'll get you connected. And I know how to get you a $200 discount. So just ring me, DM me, or whatever. The last thing is, once you get your assignment, once you do the things that you know to do, you need to free your mind. Put it in the chat, free your mind. It is something about being around people with powerful conversations and actually being in a space where you can free yourself from the limiting beliefs that you grew up with, that you struggle with from time to time, that you hold on to, from the not being enough to not being chosen to not being smart enough. Like whatever the conversation is, there's something there that holds you back from taking actions that you already know to take. So you need to free your mind. Put it in chat, free my mind. And you can do that. You can do that starting in August. Becoming the Change is going to be available August the 12th. That's the next time we going for 12 sessions. You need to deal with whatever it is in your life, the conversation, the thing that's stopping you from putting yourself out here in the world, full blast, ready to go in the game. Because remember, I talked to you Monday about getting in the game. And if you don't have that confidence, the courage, the competence to get in the game, you're going to keep watching other people play the game, wondering why things ain't happening for you. But you cannot win the prize without being in the game. So look, quick recap. Get the assignment, do what you know to do, and free your mind. And look, get that every level you may not be ready for right now, but there is a level that you can get into, that you can dominate, that you can play, that you can do well, that you can make mistakes and you can recover and you can do all the things. But talking about it ain't doing nothing but wasting time for you and whatever the assignment is that was given to you. So look, I hope that this encourages you. I'm going to continue to talk about my journey. I'm even going to do a timeline, like when my first speaking engagement was to when I actually got my first program, when I built, had my first event. Like, I'm just going to tell you the timeline. And it took effort and it took time. Put it in the chat. Effort and time. I'm going all the way back to 2012 until now. So always looking forward to serving you. Share this video with other people who you know that want to follow Christ, that want to do things that they've been called to do, that want to start businesses, that just want to have a life that they love. They need to be connected right here with you on Monday, Wednesdays, Friday, 5 o'clock, live with me, or in one of these programs, Becoming the Change, Queenpreneurs Academy, Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program, one-on-one coaching, Jumpstart coaching, whatever. They just need to be in conversation with someone that can help them free their mind. Always looking forward to serving you. I'll see you guys on Friday. You can't play with us. Put it in the chat. You can't play with us, but you can play with me. You can play with me. Come on. Always looking forward to serving you. I'll see you guys live.